Rush Hour on Fox Sports Net.
Hi and welcome to Curves. I'm Simon.
And I'm Jennifer.
We are on the mighty Mississippi in Minnesota. Behind me, one of the Twin Cities, Minneapolis. We have a great show lined up, Jen.
Yes, we're going to be on tour with some of the best women's water sports athletes at the Lifetime Fitness Center's Water Sports Challenge.
Then we'll be going into Girl Talk, a new segment on Curves. We'll be getting right between the ears of some of the best pro water skiers in the world.
Then we're going to go on a mission to see if there's really summer in Minnesota. You know what, Simon? I heard there's only 2 seasons up here, winter and road construction.
And then a little wow style, we send the girls off to the Mall of Americas to crank up those credit cards. And that's all coming up to you on Curves. First up, on tour, we're going to recap the slalom. A little bit of a curveball for the girls this time. We're actually on the Mississippi River. There's a little bit of a current flowing, so that's going to be real tricky. Let's see how they figured it out. First to kick it off, Jill Rowley, the defending champ from Vallejo.
First up, Team Malibu, defending champions from Marine World, being headed up again by Sherry Sloan, and bringing up the rear will be Andrea Gaetan.
Well, Jill Knudsen-Rowley was first out, and there's only one thing worse than a current, and that is wind on the current. You can see the conditions here are absolutely atrocious out there, and Jill having a tough time dealing with that.
Each of the competitors is going to go to school on the other competitors to see how to deal with these difficult conditions. Next up, Team Nautiques, going to be led by Susie Graham.
Well, Susie, a bit more of a veteran. She would have skied in these conditions many times before, so she's just taking a look out here a little bit easier on the first pass than Jill. Just having a look, getting through that pass, a little wobbly round number 4 there, but she's shaking her head going, what are we doing out here? This is unbelievable.
Unfortunately, she wasn't able to make her first buoy coming back in the next direction. And next up is Team Overton.
Well, Christy, again, a veteran, and she's a very accomplished skier, a very, very strong skier, and you can see her get in a tremendous amount of trouble here, but very smart skier, takes it easy around 3, gets a tight grip on the line, and makes it through that pass.
Yeah, she's changed her strategy. She's come out at 28 off first, and it seems to be to her benefit.
Yeah, so now she's coming back into the current, a very difficult start there at ball 1, and squirts around number 2, looked like she was in good shape, but hung the ski on the rope, and down she went.
There seems to be some benefit to the seating going on here. Each skier is learning from the other one. Next up, Team Mastercraft.
And my co-announcer, Jennifer, did a pretty good job out there, I thought. Again, this is coming with the current, so the actual water she's standing on is moving with her at the same time, so the course feels shorter than it actually is, and also pretty rough out there. So Jennifer did a great job here through the opening pass, and now needs to get more than 2 buoys to take the lead. Well, this is 43 feet of rope now, and a fairly tentative start. Jennifer eases around ball 2, into the lead she goes now, and squeaks over to ball 3, and good work, Jen.
Thanks, Simon. Actually, I get a little anxious on that cheering. Next up are wild cards. I forgot. Lori Kruger up next from Malibu.
Now, this is 47 feet of rope. She made her first pass only just. She's in a handful of trouble here. Gets stretched out over the front of the ski, and down she goes.
A terrible fall, but she seems to be okay.
Just got a little stretched out there, Jen. Dropped the tip of the ski and slam dunk. What a ripper. So not getting quite enough buoys, and Jennifer Leachman, the slalom champion, Mastercraft in the lead there with 4 points, followed by Overton's, Nautiques and Malibu. Well, another fantastic slalom event, Jen. Very exciting stuff. But now we get to check out a new feature on Curves where we get to check out the grey matter of some of these pro athletes.
Let's meet Susie Graham, 4-time world record holder, next on Girl Talk.
People call me the scrappiest skier on tour, and I don't know where that comes from because in practice I promise I'm smooth as I can be. When I get out there in front of those people, I just really think I have, I just hate to lose so much that I just do anything it takes to put out that score that really counts. I'd say that off the water, I'm a competitive person too, depending on what you're talking about, of course. But off the water, it's more of a love to win at things than a hate to lose. I love everything I do with my son. Like, in fact, I'm here this weekend by myself, and I really hate it without him. I have a lot more fun when I ski, ride in the boat, and when I do badly, it doesn't matter to me as much because I just go and he gives me a big hug and a kiss and tells me I'm wonderful, and that's good enough for me.
More gal talk coming up, but now it's over to Jen on Lake Minnetonka, and they ain't fishing, they're on a mission.
It's a lovely summer day in Minnesota.
Follow us.
Will do. This looks like a familiar scenario, Jen. You're not looking for a boat ramp by any chance, are you?
10,000 lakes in Minnesota, and we're just looking for the right one.
I need a Mountain Dew.
Do you guys have any idea where you're going, Jen?
Well, after we find Lake Minnetonka, we're going to try to ski our way to world-famous Lord Fletcher's restaurant.
Looks like they're having a great time. More curves coming up. Curves is brought to you by Mastercraft, the leader and pulling farther ahead. By Malibu, breaking new ground, making new rules. And Nautics by Correctcraft since 1925. Hi and welcome back to Curves, coming to you from Minneapolis on the mighty Mississippi. Nice of you to join us, Jen.
Well, we must have lost your invite.
And now you're invited to rejoin us on tour as we recap the trick event.
First up from Team Mastercraft, Karen Truelove, putting out a great performance, one of her best ever, 5,010.
That was a good performance by Karen, and she'll be very pleased with that. A great run there. The next out for Team Overton's was Starlet Smith, and she also had a decent pass, 4,460 points. And she would be fairly happy with that.
Next was Brandy Hunt, putting up a great first pass, ending it with 2 flips. Looks like she's going to take the lead and falls early on her first pass. Very disappointing, 23.50.
Probably wishing she had a wetsuit too. And then out for Malibu was Taryn Han, 7,770 points here, an absolute massacre over the opposition. And once again, Taryn Han victorious.
Also picking up 2 bonus points for her team. It's going to be very critical in this close competition. Next is Regina Jaquez, wild card for Team Overton. Youngster, 14 years old. She's going to be giving Ton Larson a run for her money.
They're really going for it here, Jen. Pulls out 6,010, so she also goes over the past score and gets an extra 2 points, and pretty happy about it too.
And she bumps Mastercraft out of second place. So wild card, April Coble comes out.
A lot of pressure on her, and unfortunately she faltered and fell fairly early with 3,180, so didn't get the job done, and the whole leaderboard changed, and Overton's moving up to first place.
Trick skiing is probably the most beautiful discipline on tour, and probably the most graceful of all trickers is Ton Larson. Let's meet her next on Girl Talk.
Trick skiing is very smooth, like dancing or doing ballet. You really have to try to be smooth with your movements because there's a lot of balance that's included in it and a lot of coordination. Well, I chose trick skiing over slalom and jumping. 1, because I'm small, and 2, because when I was 6 years old, I just fell in love with it. I love the smooth feel of the water under my ski, and at 10 years old, I started winning, and that's kind of fun to start out by winning, and so I decided to keep with it. I want to continue to pursue do goals, and I feel that trick skiing has really taught me to set goals, reach for them, and attain them. And that's something I want to follow through with my son now and try to push him to reach for his goals. It's really been a growing experience for me as a child and as an adult.
Well, an interesting look at Taryn Han there, one of the girls on tour with a very long resume. Now, looks like Jen's taken off again, back to Lake Minnetonka on a mission.
Hi, Simon!
When Curves continues, we'll recap the jump event and check out a little wow style. Hi, welcome back to Curves. Coming to you from Minneapolis on the Mississippi River at the Aquatennial Festival.
Let's go back on tour and recap the jump event.
Well, the Lifetime Fitness Center Water Sports Challenge was challenging, and we can see Patty Zeisler out there in conditions that look more apt to windsurfing than water skiing, but Patty was pretty keen to give it a go anyway, Jen.
Yes, there was actually discussions that they were going to cancel the jump event, but Patty decided she would try it first. Only jump at 78 feet, but quite a jump for such conditions.
Well, pretty keen there, got up on her toes and managed to pull out a 78-foot jump, which is not huge for her, but under the conditions was pretty brave. And that opened the door for Susie Law of Team Overton.
Yes, you'll notice that Susie Law takes a double weight cut, where Patty took a single weight cut, and that gives her a little bit further distance at 94 feet.
So she improved a little bit on our first jumper out, and that seemed to be the trend. Out comes Sherry Sloan for Team Malibu. A very experienced skier, remember, former jump champion. So she's taken it pretty easy on the cut, gets everything out of the ramp, and she eased on a little further with a best of 101.
It's questionable whether Sherry Sloan should even be on the water coming off of 2 knee surgeries. Next up, Taryn Neville from Team Nautique. She's their ace in the hole.
Quite a bit of pressure on Tony. Again, one of the pros out there, can handle the conditions well. It's very rough out there, but she handled them well. A little bit dodgy on that landing, but she came up with a 99 on her first jump. She passed one up, but then again, Sherry Sloan still in the lead. Crunch time now for Nautique. She needs a score and gets one. Great stuff there from the Australian. Those long skis carrying her through that breeze, and a 112 was good enough to take the jump event, but Sherry Sloan helped bring Malibu up to share the lead with Overton's with one event to go.
Let's meet Taryn Neville, one of the most beautiful girls on tour, and find out why she's involved in the most dangerous of all the events on Girl Talk.
I think the reason I throw myself at that big jump ramp every weekend is the thrill. You watch your other competitors go out there and you just want to beat them so bad, and it definitely has a thrill factor. Slalom has taken a little bit of a back seat, especially on the WOW Tour, just because they needed me, my team needed me for jumping. But I still love to slalom, and it's still one of my, well, I've got 2 events I do, so it's one of the favourites. I'm competitive in practice if I ski with one of my fellow competitors, train with them, but on my own, I'm pretty bad. You always try to keep your body and your mental attitude in top shape, and the best way is skiing with someone, because you know when you get to a tournament, you don't want to vary from practice to tournament.
Taryn Neville's an awesome skier when it comes to shopping, though. She's a real pro. Let's go shopping wild style, and what better place? The Mall of America. Let's go, girl.
A big day, big bills, and big air when we come back on Curves. Hi, and welcome back to Curves, coming to you from the Twin Cities, right here on the Mississippi River.
Let's recap the last event, wakeboarding on tour.
Well, an exciting start to the wakeboarding event. It's still completely wide open, the whole competition. Overton's and Malibu are tied for the lead, but Mastercraft and Nautique are not that far behind. So it was very important for Gretchen to try and hang on to that lead for Overton. Unfortunately, she didn't have that great of a ride, and it left the door fairly wide open. Jamie Nicrason was the next rider out for Nautique's Jen, and she's a real gun.
Yes, it's very difficult for these girls, but they have to concentrate on two things. One is winning the expression session, and the other is how many inverts they're going to do.
Now, the pass score is 4, so if they can get more than 4 inverts, they will continue to score bonus points, and that's how these two teams from the rear can maybe catch up. It's going to be very close, and Jamie Nicrason had a tremendous run.
It's very difficult to concentrate on style and looking good while you're performing and counting the number of inverts that you're doing.
So 2 bonus points there for Nautique. Next out was Andrea Gayton. Now, she's a 4-time world champion and no dummy when it comes to pressure skiing.
She pulls off a couple of great tricks, starting off with a 360, then her front roll to revert.
Okay, so Team Malibu really making a run here, trying to maintain that lead that they had. And Andrea doing a great job out there for her.
Andrea pulled off some great tricks. She pulled off 6 inverts, the same number as Jamie Nicrason. But unfortunately, I think that's going to leave the door open for Tara Hamilton.
Well, she was disappointed with that performance, really needed to pull out all stops and came up a little bit short, but nonetheless, a pretty good run. Tara Hamilton was last out for Mastercraft, the current world champion, and to put them on top of the podium, when she came off the dock, she knew that she had to score 8 inverts, Jen.
Yes, if anybody's got the nerves and the skill to pull this off, it was Tara Hamilton.
And the advantage she has, Jan, is that she has a tremendous repertoire of tricks, including this enormous air railie right over the city there, and fantastic stuff. Really wowed the crowd with that one. And, of course, at the end there, had this huge double-up tantrum. That was the 7th invert and good enough to take out the wakeboard title. Mastercraft thinking they have won the event, but so do Malibu. And, well, what do you know? A tie. 14 points each for Malibu and Mastercraft, followed by Nautique's and Overton's. Now let's check back in with Jen over in Lake Minnetonka to prove once and for all that there really is summer in Minnesota.
My daddy knows the sheriff.
Hey, did we prove there really is a summer in Minnesota, girls?
Another great competition and another great curve.
Well, sure looked like you enjoyed yourself in Lake Minnetonka.
I did, and next time we're going to West Virginia. Have you gotten your invitation yet?
I did actually get that one. That's your hometown, isn't it?
Yes, West Virginia, almost heaven.
Okay, Parkersburg, West Virginia. Make sure you stick around next time for your favourite curves.